Taking a local jail and its health provider, to court after they say a stint behind bars turned into a death sentence for their loved one.
Yeah, the family telling Marcy Manley the facility failed to provide medical treatments that could have easily prevented his death. So Fox 16 investigates how the jail handles medical conditions.
Marcy Manley found the medical company Saline County hired to provide health care in the jail has had nearly 500 prisoner lawsuits filed in the past decade and is now facing another over what this family calls a 7-day death sentence.
Some pictures and some memories, want tos and wish hads.
These are the good times Joshua Harris recalls over the years with his big brother Donovan.
One of my favorite photos actually of me and him at my wedding.
A striking difference compared to images of Donovan's last days alive in the Saline County jail.
Not only dying, but almost being tortured.
Diagnosed a type 1 diabetic since he was a kid, 30-year-old Donovan required insulin shots 2 or 3 times a day. When he came into Saline County custody November 7, 2015, he was accused of failing to report on parole. Sheriff deputies had him pegged as a suspect in a string of thefts. He had a history of struggling with substance abuse.
He wasn't perfect and he was a criminal at times, and he may have deserved a lot of bad things, but I don't believe that anybody truly deserves to die or to have to suffer the way that he did.
Detainees' medical care falls squarely on the shoulders of county jail administrators. While Harris was in custody, for-profit Southern Health Partners had been hired by Saline County to provide medical attention. According to jail administrator Lieutenant J.P. Massier, inmates have to inform the jail of current conditions and medications, and then the jail is responsible for attending to those medical needs.
They do put in their sick call request through there.
Providing kiosks and pods for inmates to report illness and an infirmary on site.
The exam room.
If they don't tell us, we don't know what to treat them for. Once we do know, though, is that we have medical staff here, we have the medical doctor.
Lieutenant Massier wouldn't go into specifics, but he says he opted for a new provider that is committed to more on-call hours and comprehensive care inside the facility.
I felt that there was a need for improvement in our medical care here.
According to records obtained by Fox 16 Investigates, Harris did report his diabetes at booking and again during a screening. He informed Southern Health's medical staff he had been to the ER twice in the previous 2 months because he had difficulty affording his insulin.
He lasted only 7 days under their care.
According to medical records, Donovan's blood sugar levels only checked 3 times during his week-long stay. According to the Mayo Clinic, most type 1 diabetics check between 4 and 8 times a day. Southern Health Partners considered 110 to be a normal amount. 200 was the safety threshold. And as you can see, Donovan's readings were all above that amount. A deputy even reported a reading as high as 700 on one of the days of his stay.
A blood sugar reading isn't going to lie to whoever's taking it.
Reports of Donovan vomiting started on November 9th. He fainted at the infirmary on November 13th. His health complaints continued day after day, but it appears he was given only 3 doses of insulin his entire stay.
He had the medications there. They just were not supplied.
By the afternoon of November 15th, Donovan had not eaten or had anything to drink in over 24 hours. He barely moved as staff came and went inside his cell the entire day.
They'll just bring it and take it back.
By 5:45 p.m., deputies discovered Donovan didn't have a heartbeat. Rigor mortis had already set in. Medical examiners found Donovan died from diabetic ketoacidosis. Essentially, his blood, overwhelmed with glucose, became toxic and his organs began a shutdown process, resulting in dehydration and starvation.
Knowing that my brother died alone in a jail cell, naked, it's something I can't deal with.
No, this isn't something that should be pushed under the rug. This is why we have these protections, is to make sure that it doesn't happen to somebody else or to you or your loved ones.
Joshua has filed a federal lawsuit accusing the jail and Southern Health Partners of subjecting his brother to cruel and unusual punishment and wrongfully causing his death.
You seem like you feel guilty.
I do. Not just me, my father too. We aided the officers in arresting him.
Joshua and his father helped Saline County take Donovan into custody, hoping the intervention would allow him to start a counseling program on November 16th. but Donovan died just one day before.
We ended up, in a sense, getting him killed. And it's a very, very, I pray that no one ever else has to go through that, because
Donovan Harris left behind a daughter and a wife and a younger brother who prefers to think of Donovan as he was on his good days.
He was a great man who made bad decisions at times, but he didn't deserve to go the way that he went. No one does.
For Fox 16 Investigates, I'm Marcy Manley.
A state crime lab report notes when a disease is allowed to progress without treatment, the cause of death is considered natural. Donovan's blood sugar at the time of his autopsy, 506. That's twice the safety threshold amount. And don't forget, you can call or email Marcy Manley if you have a story you would like her to investigate. The phone number and email address are on the screen. And if you'd like, you can remain anonymous.